Welcome to another edition of On the Move with Cancerve. This show is all about youth service leaders and how we're inspired to add a little more good to the world around us. So come along, we're on the move to make a difference.
So see this box here? It's empty, but not for long. So we'll be filling it with all of these ingredients for one of my favorite meals, breakfast. And then we'll deliver these to shelters and transitional living homes. So let's get started. Today, we are making breakfast potato hash. It is a great way to start your day because it fills you with lots of healthy veggies and you get to add a protein like bacon, ham, or even sausage. And I have to admit, this is my favorite recipe because it's so easy to make. Here's what you'll need for this recipe. So I just washed my potatoes and cut them up into about 1-inch pieces. And then we boiled them for about 10 minutes just so they were soft enough to be pierced with a fork. And now we're gonna start cutting our peppers and our onions. One part I don't like about chopping onions is that they sometimes make you cry. Now the real fun begins. All right, now we're gonna start cooking. We're gonna add a couple tablespoons of oil in our pan and just wait for that to heat up for a couple minutes. You know when it's hot enough when it starts to simmer on the top, but you don't wanna let it go for too long or else the oil will burn. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and start to add our potatoes. And now with this, you can really use any type of potatoes. I'm using red, but you could use white potatoes, yellow potatoes, or even sweet potatoes, which are my parents' favorite. And with these, you just want to keep stirring them until they're golden brown on all the edges. You're gonna wanna cook these for about 5 to 7 minutes before adding in our peppers and onions. Now this recipe feeds 4, but you can always double or triple the recipe depending on how many people you're feeding. All right, now that our potatoes are getting golden brown on the outside, we're gonna go ahead and add in our diced peppers and onions along with some seasonings. And just give it a toss, mix it all together. And if your pan looks like it's starting to get a little dry, you can always add a little bit more oil. And you just want to keep cooking until your peppers and onions have softened and your potatoes have a nice golden brown color. Now the last thing we're gonna add to our hash is some sort of protein. I am using this ham, but you can always use bacon, or I know you can use corned beef, or if you don't like meat but then still want some protein, you could always add a fried egg. And then just like that, we're finished. All right, so now we're ready to plate. Let's get some of these strawberries too. And eat. Eating a good breakfast is so important. It helps you maintain energy throughout the day and helps you concentrate during class. This is my favorite way to start the day. I like mine with ketchup. So remember this empty box? Told you it wouldn't be empty for long. Now we're gonna fill it with all the ingredients you need to make your potato hash. So we of course gotta start with some potatoes, a red pepper, some yummy strawberries. You've gotta have some seasonings and oil. Of course you gotta have an onion and whatever breakfast meat that you choose. And oh look, we even have our little measuring cup. And after you finish, you gotta have some of our mints. Now the next step is delivering these boxes.
Everybody deserves a good, nutritious meal, and that means one that's kid-friendly and easy to make. So today, we're teaming up with Stevenson University to stuff our We Can Serve brunch bags with easy-to-make meals and a cure for those snack attacks. Meals like instant oatmeal are so easy to make. Even your dog could do it, if you can teach him how to use a microwave.
So for the Student Government Association within Stevenson, our biggest strategic initiative this year is to work on collaboration, not only within our clubs and organizations, but with the community outside as well, which is why we decided to work with We Can Serve today.
These bags are selected by kids for kids. We do know what we like to eat.
Oh look, a pop top. You don't even need a can opener?
Each bag contains 2 to 3 meals that kids can prepare all by themselves. Kids alone cannot survive on meals. This is why we have Snack Attack. Even kids with terrible illnesses need snacks.
With the world that we live in today, food insecurity is a massive issue that everybody should be aware of, which is why working with the We Can Serve movement is extremely important and beneficial to not only work with the youth, but work for the youth as well.
Our We Can Serve brunch bags are ready, and our snack attacks are filled. Now, it's time to deliver them. Come along.
Please welcome tonight's presentation.
When I grow up.
I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck
I don't want to borrow a lot for an education.
and then not know what to do with it.
When I grow up, I don't want to be paid less.
I want to know how to provide for my family,
and invest in my community.
When I grow up, I just want things to be different.
At Junior Achievement, we promote economic empowerment through education, but we can't do it alone.
Good nutrition is important at every stage of life, and it's especially important for kids, whose bodies and minds rely on good nutrition to grow and develop. That's why I decided to stop in at the Maryland Food Bank to learn how they help thousands of Maryland families fighting food insecurity and keep food on the dinner table. Wow! This is incredible. It is massive in here. And I was wondering, how do you get all this food on people's dinner tables?
Here at the Maryland Food Bank, we couldn't do this work without our network partners. We have over 360 partners across the state with over 1,000 distribution sites. And those partners are able to provide food in which many Marylanders can receive within their communities.
That is amazing. And I was wondering, why are so many people struggling to get food on their dinner tables?
Well, Zach, there are a number of reasons, but some of the more recent factors, post-pandemic, a lot of benefits went away that was supporting families through those great times of needs, as well as inflation. Inflation is starting to really create impossibilities for individuals and families to afford food because of the prices increasing.
So what is your most requested food that kids like here?
Well, Zach, one of the most favorite foods is applesauce. It's quick, it's convenient, of course it has a little sweetness to it, and it's nutritious as well. So applesauce, I would say, is a favorite.
I know myself, I love applesauce too, so it's great to see that everyone else is enjoying it when it's also nutritious. I was also wondering, what about parents? What do they think?
One of the top commodities that are often our partners are ordering is prepared meals. Because of the convenience, a lot of our parents are either hustling, bustling, getting the kids from school, probably going to a second job, so they need the convenience of prepared meals. Now, we do know that most of the meals that are provided are high in salt and saturated fats, so our nutrition director is working with our sourcing team to find commodities that are more healthier in nutrition value for prepared meals.
That's awesome. And also I was wondering, what should people do if they are struggling to keep food on the dinner table?
Absolutely. Anyone who is needing food assistance should definitely go to the Maryland Food Bank website at mdfoodbank.org/find food. And there they'll find a tool that they could put in their zip code, and from there they'll get a list of partners who are in their areas, and they could go to one of those pantries and our partners will be able to assist them.
Wow, it is cold in here. So you not only have packaged foods here at the Maryland Food Bank, but you also have fresh fruits and vegetables.
Oh yes, we have thousands and thousands of pounds of fresh vegetables that we give out every year.
And do they keep you in here? Because it is very cold. Do you ever get let out?
Yes, definitely. Not soon enough, but I do get let out.
So where does all this food actually come from?
Well, we get it from a variety of sources. Our favorite is to get it from local farms. So sometimes we contract with them to purchase it. Sometimes they're kind enough to donate it, but we try to keep things as local and Maryland grown as possible.
And now with all the packaged foods that you have and quick meals, how are you guys able to get people to go for fruits and vegetables since they're just so quick?
Yes, so one great thing is if you look at items like your apples, like these, or bananas, they're very grab and go. Also, one thing you can do is if you are cutting up vegetables, just cut up a few more and then keep it in your fridge so later, when you are busy, you can throw it into whatever dish you're making.
And I also know fruit flies can be a big issue. So what's your best remedy for fruit flies?
Well, for us, it's all about keeping things very fresh. So as soon as we get them, we're always working hard with the pantries to get them out super fast before fruit flies are ever an issue.
Well, that's amazing that you have all this stuff. And let's get out of the cold.
Sounds good.
So this is where it all comes together. This is where the community partners pick up food that they distribute to people. How does this work?
So many different ways. We see over 360 partner organizations, soup kitchens, shelters, emergency feeding pantries that distribute food all throughout the state. And we're fortunate to have an outlet here where partners can pick up.
How many partners do you see on a normal given day?
In our marketplace area, we see an average of about 20 partners. Those 20 partners move about 250,000 pounds a week. Think of 10 to 15 tractor trailer loads of food going down the road to be able to service these partners.
So we are standing in front of this massive scale here. I was wondering, is this for weighing food or people?
Well, I'm not going to get on the scale, Zach, but it is for food. So when our partners come in to shop, they actually pick the items they want, and then before they leave, we weigh it on the scale, we track those pounds, and that's how we know that last year our partners distributed over 41 million meals to people across the state.
Outstanding!
Okay, so I'm trying to experiment here. I'm filling up this basket with foods that I like. Let's see if I'm making the right choices. Well, Kate, how did I do?
Let's see. Well, it looks like you have lots of items in here. A great way to look is to start with the nutrition panel. So this is going to tell you all the important stuff like sodium, like sugar, like saturated fat.
Okay.
So with this, one thing you want to keep in mind is the amount of sodium. So let's look for some alternatives. If you go over here, it's always good to have stuff like whole nuts. They don't have all the added sodium, and it's also something that's shelf stable and a really good snack. So, of course, your drinks. These are always fun, but if you look at the back, it has so much added sugar. So, a great replacement is always water. And if you don't like just plain water, keep in mind that you can put in a little bit of sliced fruit like orange. You can put in a little bit of sugar-free seltzer with flavoring, and then you can get it tasting a lot better. I see you also have this kind of snack, which is the chewy granola bars. Also, you have some of the crunchy granola bars. Now, these are fun and they're convenient, but again, you always have to think about the added sugar. And the nutrition panel on the back is a great place to go. But there's other stuff that has natural sugar instead of added sugar. So here's an example. If you look right over here, this is a fruit cup that's in 100% juice. So it is nice and sweet if you want a sweet snack, but it's 100% natural, and that kind of sugar is a lot better for you.
Thank you for the alternative for that. So something I was wondering about is how'd I do on the spaghetti?
Yes, so that is a really good question. Now, it's a grain, which is wonderful, but you have to keep in mind, is it a whole grain or not? Do you know what a whole grain means?
I don't. Can you tell me?
Absolutely. So if you're looking at something like spaghetti that's usually made out of wheat, that's the grain. It'll have naturally 3 parts to it. Now, a whole grain means it has all 3 parts. It's whole. If it's not, that means the outside layers have been stripped off in processing. Now, unfortunately, that's where most of the nutrients are. So this kind of pasta, it doesn't say whole grain, it doesn't say whole wheat. So what that means is that the good stuff has been stripped off. but we can find a lot of whole grain, and that means the good stuff is still on there. So here's an example right here, and it says whole grain on it.
Well, it seems like I have some work to pick good, nutritious food, but your swap guide helps a lot, so I will definitely be using that in the future. Thank you. Well, that sure taught me a lot about food, nutrition, making good food choices, and how the Maryland Food Bank reaches so many people here in Maryland, feeding them and making sure tomorrow's leaders have a solid start today. Let us know where you want to see us next on Zach Around Town.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
Little everyday conversations about the dangers of underage drinking can make a big difference in a child's life. Talk, they hear you.
Let's talk about food, or the lack of it. Maryland is one of the wealthiest states in the country, with more than 6 million people. And yet, about a third of us could face hunger this year. That's a lot of people, and a lot of kids. The definition of food insecurity is a lack of consistent access to enough food for an active, healthy life. Those words are one thing. The reality is another. The reality is not being able to put enough food on the table to feed a whole family. It's not being sure where your next meal might come from. It's skipping meals because your monthly food budget just ran out. It's going for cheap fast food with little or no nutritional value, or food with way too much sugar, salt, and fat, just to feel something in your stomach. It's sitting in a classroom and not being able to concentrate because there was no breakfast to start your day, and realizing that lunch is probably the only meal you'll eat today. Being unsure if you're going to eat again is scary. It feels empty. It feels tired. It feels helpless. It feels forgotten. And I am not okay with any child feeling like this. We are not okay with any kids in our communities experiencing this. No! We know many of you aren't okay with this either. So we invite you to help us today.
We got a lot going on, and you can help. Let's take a look at our upcoming events.
Aren't supposed to play with food. But who said kids still can't have fun with it? There's no doubt spaghetti is one of the most fun foods kids enjoy eating. Cancerve is planning to fill our February 2024 brunch bags with pasta for children experiencing food insecurity. So, by the end of January, we really need to collect 600 single-serving pasta meals. Will you help us? Here's what we need, and here's what you can donate. Campbell's spaghetti, Chef Boyardee beef ravioli, Chef Boyardee lasagna, Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, Hormel Completes chicken Alfredo, Kraft macaroni and cheese cups, Velveeta macaroni and cheese cups. Yes, it's that easy. Check out our website for drop-off information.
Are you looking for an extra special way to celebrate your Easter? Hop on over to the Abingdon Library on March 16th from 10 till 2 for a special Easter bag stuffing event. We're filling dozens of bags with Easter candy and other fun stuff for our friends at area homeless shelters, domestic violence safe houses, children's hospitals, orphanages, and foster care group homes. and at Perry Point's Help Village, making sure that our veterans' kids know that we remember them too. You can bring individually wrapped pieces of candy or just come for the goodness of it all.
Congrats are in order for 2 We Can Serve leaders who were honored by Hormel Foods Corporation for their remarkable food-related achievements. Awesome! Zachary Guiazda, who chairs for We Can Serve's All-Youth Board of Advisors, was named a 2023 Rising Star for his work as a food security advocate. Grace Colwood, who created We Can Serve in 2012, was named a 10 Under 20 Food Hero alumni for her continued work to amplify the impact of food insecurity worldwide. Zach and Grace joined 12 other young people from around the country who were honored during ceremonies at Hormel's headquarters in Minnesota. As part of their prize, they received mentorships and joined a network of other young changemakers committed to a healthier, safer, and better world. Congratulations, Zach and Grace.
Amazing!
Reporting for On the Move with We Can Serve, I'm Sydney Thompson.
Thanks for hanging with us and learning about ways that you can get involved, get engaged, and make your community stronger, safer, and better. So long.